Amigos.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to
Vaughn Radio.
This is Vaughn Radio, and you're listening to the show with no name. Time for liftoff.
9,
8, 7. Come on.
6,
You got it.
5,
4, 7.
3,
Nah, just
2,
checking.
1,
Here we go.
0. Ignition.
Cross your fingers.
Liftoff.
We got to get this thing off the ground, folks. Come on. Get up there, baby. Get on up. Get up. Get on up. Get up. Get on up.
Hold on to your hat. Strap on
There
your
it is.
seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name. It's the show. Let's go.
That's right, amigos. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It's the non-stop rocket ship to wherever you want to go. We call it the show with no name. But call it whatever you want. As long as you attend and you participate in your interactive English class on Vaughn Radio every day from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. That's right. We'll take you right into your afternoon in style with some oomph. What? Oomph. Oomph means energy. O-O-M-P-H. Vaya palabra. Oomph. A little bit of oomph in your English. A little bit of punch. Un poco de punch. We say the same thing there. Ahí estamos de acuerdo. Hey, sometimes we agree. Welcome to the show with no name, folks. As many of you who are watching the live stream can see, it is officially in my possession. I'm talking about my latest, greatest material, resource, call it whatever you will, book. It's more than just a book. This book is the shit. The third in the milk collection. You've got this book is the milk. This book is the remilk, which is now called This Book is the Milk 2. And this one that is hot off the press. Acaba de salir de la imprenta. Literally, it's This Book is the Shit. You can pick it up at the book fair. As many of you guys know, it is right around the corner. And when I say right around the corner, I mean tomorrow, baby.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of year again. Spring has sprung. And that means it's time for the book fair at the Retiro Park in Madrid. It kicks off on May 26th till June 11th. Join us at Grupo Vaughn's stand 312. I'll be there with Damian Moya presenting our latest book. And my amigos will be there signing their books as well. Don't miss
Julia Linares, or Jules, host of the Let's Get Random show.
Dave Boys, host of The Salads.
Jimena Holiday, host of Test Your English.
Guy Williams, host of Western Civilization.
Natasha Pasqua, host of Back to Basics.
Kyle Miller from The Drive Time Show.
Richard Vaughn.
and many more. Meet your favorite Vaughn presenters, teachers, and authors at Feria del Libro 2023. Stand 312. Check out our website for the complete schedule, grupovaughn.com, and follow us on social media for further updates. Feria del Libro 2023 with Vaughan at the Retiro Park in Madrid. Join us at stand 312.
That's right, folks. We'll all be there. I'll be there tomorrow. So if you're listening to this live, I will be there Saturday, May 27th, Saturday, June 3rd, and Sunday, June 11th with Damian Moya. We'll be at the Vaughn stand signing our latest book. We'll sign our other ones too, sure. And if you want to pick up a copy, you can pick it up already. It's available right now. I already shared it on social media. Those of you who can't make it to the book fair, no sweat, no worries. You guys are going to be able to pick it up on the Vaughn Tienda website. Just go to Vaughn Tienda, or if you're following me on social media, I have shared the links. We're so excited. Our baby has become a reality, and we'd love to sign it for you, stamp it, and all that jazz. Let me tell you a little bit about the material. This book is the shit, has 14 action-packed chapters. Then you've got these breaks in the middle. So you've got the first break is WTF is the title. What the is the title? And this is where we play with literal translations of movie titles. Chris, I know many of you will like this if you're a movie buff. The second break is Canciones que no dicen lo que creías. Yeah, you'll find out some of the songs you thought were romantic songs are not. Break 3, we really get into the word get, because you can't get around it. You need it to get by, so get over it. Sí, te enseñamos a dominar el verbo get. The fourth break is where we kick the dictionary. Songs that kick the dictionary. Es una traducción literal, pero canciones que no son gramaticalmente correctas en inglés. And then our last break is the F word. The F word. Oh, wait, and where's, our P break? I missed it over here. The magic word kick the dictionary. There it is. So we've got a potty break and an F word break. Now, the potty break es donde enseñamos la palabra S-H-I-T y también la palabra piss. Pero lo enseñamos cuando no es orina y caca. And then the F word significa mucho más que solo fornicar. So we look at that as well. Those are just the breaks. And then you've got a chapter on English in your phone, Hollywood English, Harry Potter. There's a Simpsons chapter. There's a chapter where we learn English with Christmas. We also learn English with food and many other things. If you guys want to pick it up, it's available now at the Vaughn Tienda. I hope many of you will pick it up at the book fair. Let's kick off with our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. It's our pop quiz only on the show with no name. And this one is coming straight from This Book is the Shit. So if you've got it already, you got it before me. I just got it last night, and my wife got it for me because she was in Madrid. So I said, can you stop by the Vaughn headquarters, La Sede? So if you want to pick it up in person, you can do that at the Vaughn Tienda. You can also buy it online, or you can come to the book fair. And this example we're going to look at today is from the video games chapter of the book. Okay, so we call it English Station, Juegos y Videojuegos. Nuestra intención es que te lo pases bien con el inglés, como si fuera un juego. So, insert coin and let's begin. So this is where we learn English from all different words, like Nintendo Switch. ¿Cuánta chicha tiene esa palabra switch? Right? And ¿qué? Pues se cambia, se recambia. So to switch. The other day, and many times on the show, we talk about switching it up. Digo, hoy vamos a hacer esta sección en vez de esta en este lugar. We're going to switch it up. So also a switch is interruptor. So what we do is we really try to get you to get the idea, to get the concept. And as I said, we call these words milky words. So today's word, and I don't just want you to give me a word. No way, Jose. I want you to give me also the context, and preferably a context that makes sense. All right? Especially to you, given your situation. And this is a very famous video game. Now, I've got to be honest, I had to rely on apoyarme en Damian for this. I'm like, I'll take your word for it. If you say it's popular, there's someone's Minecraft, all of those I've heard of. But I actually, for being somebody who doesn't know very much about video games, I've heard of this one. So even, maybe even if you're not a video game buff, you'll know this one. We're looking for the word lluvia radioactiva. Okay? Lluvia radioactiva. Okay? There is our, now, it's got another meaning, which is not as literal. So I'll take that one as well. In fact, it makes more sense to use the non-literal meaning, okay? So it's lluvia radioactiva, and it's got other meanings, as I said, including a figurative meaning as well, all right? So we'll see if you're familiar with this word that we can get from video games. And while you guys are thinking it over, here's a little ad that Tino made. And by the way, a nice round of applause for Tino. This book is the shit. Ads. Las cuñas, the ads. They're the shit. Son la bomba. Let's hear it. First things first. How are the machines doing? You good?
Yeah, good.
All right, cool. Let's take a little picture. Quick question, though. ¿Cómo se dice emparejar en inglés?
No sé. ¿Tu emparejate?
No, emparejate. Usas Tinder, ¿no?
Sí.
Pues, ¿qué pasa cuando te gusta una chica y hacéis pareja? ¿Hacéis un
match?
Eso es. Y vamos un paso más allá. Un matchmaker, uno que hace parejas, es Celestina.
Ah, claro, ¿qué sentido tiene?
¿Ves? Lo sabías, pero no sabías que lo sabías.
Así es, This Book is the Shit, el nuevo libro de Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, how are those machines doing? ¿Cómo van las máquinas? As David Bisbal says. Let's go on over to our virtual classroom where tons of students join us every day in our chat room, our classroom. And if you can't join us, you are with us in spirit. In fact, let's take a moment. I always give our students who are here with us live a round of applause. Guys, you'll get yours today. That one is for the people who can't be with us live. I hope you come to the book fair, and thanks for listening. Thank you so much for listening. Speaking of people who are here live, there's the lovely Vero, front row center, and she says, "Morning, beautiful people." Hello, Vero, pronunciándolo a lo guiri. Chris Valrol, there she is. I mentioned your name already, Chris. She says, "Morning, Alberto, and amazing mates." What's up? Kubla, there he is. He says, "Good morning, renowned folks. Since any time I log in, I find you all kicking butt and taking names. Let me get pumped to rack my hollow brains in an attempt to live up to it. Oh, wow, Kubla. I'll give you a totally native, but I got to warn you too, guys. I have a couple students, I won't mention names, where they only speak in idiomatic expressions. That's not the goal. So it's good. You're showing me that you've got a lot of great expressions there. But remember, you don't want to only use idiomatic expressions, although I did give you a totally native. To live up to it, dar la talla, to rack your brains, exprimir los sesos, and to kick butt and take names, arrasar. All right, Kubla, I see you're ready to kick butt and take names as well. Speaking of people who kick ass or kick butt, there is Born to Iron Man checking in. What's up, Born to Iron Man? He says, good morning, show with no namers. What's up? Let's see, who else have we got in the house? We've got Nihad. And Nihad says, happy rainy day, Alberto, and my friends. Let the rain refresh our soul and bring new energy to our day. Embrace the beauty of the rain and let it inspire you. Oh my God, dude, Nihad, let me tell you something. Hang on a second. This is for you. Not only did you sound native, but it was poetic. Nihad, great start today. You're off to a great start. Excellent job. Leo, in the house. What's up, Leo? Speaking of people who have a way with words, to have a way with words es controlas bien la palabra. Tienes el don de la palabra. You have a way with words. And if your friend's Mexican, you say, you have a way with words, way. All right. I'm sorry. Hey, if it helps you remember it. I always use that to teach cuánto pesas. Porque mucha gente dice, how much do you weight? Y eso es cuánto esperas. ¿No? So I always say, think of this. How much do you weigh, way? ¿Cuánto pesas, way? And listen, I'm not mocking Mexican people. I love the way thing. It's great. I have a lot of Mexican friends. Viva Mexico! Cabrones. That's what they say. Don't blame me there. They say big goats. Leo says, hello, friends. Double A, I already have the cooler ready for June 3rd. Awesome. I just need to fill it with brews. Well, nobody is cooler than you, Leo. Well, you have a cooler, neverita. I love how you call it a little fridge. It's graciosísimo. Do you have the little fridge? Yeah, I got the cooler. Nosotros el enfriador. So just remember this one. My cooler is cooler than yours. Eso puede ser más frío o más chulo. And nobody's cooler than Leo. Let's see. Kubla says, understood, super teacher. I hope I won't piss you off today. You never piss me off. None of you, in fact. Piss me. No, cabrearme with you. Okay, I might get upset when I see a lot of mistakes, but don't take that personal. I'm just doing my job. You know, ¿Cómo que vas a hacer it? Right. So that, you know, if I don't, I always tell my students, if I don't correct your mistakes, am I doing my job? No, not really. Right. A good teacher, as we talked about with Tosh Pasqua on FYI, a great teacher will hold you accountable. And to hold you accountable, tú eres responsable para saber eso. You need to know it. I'm not, you know, it's like a personal trainer. Same thing. And if you guys are looking to have your own teacher, remember, you can get some options over at grupovon.com. We've got private classes. We've got group classes. We've got digital online classes. It kind of depends on your level, your budget, where you live, you know, all of those factors. But give us a call or drop us a line. You can go to our website. It's grupovon.com. You've also got our online bookshop, as I said, with a brand new book available. Okay. And what else? What else? Oh, phone number. Hey, some people like to use the phone. I personally don't, but some people do. That's 911-385831. I mean, eventually you have to talk to somebody, because what they do, we don't just say, oh, here's a course. Good luck. We say, okay, it's consultation. We talk to you and determine what your needs are. And we base that on what we have, which if we don't have it, we will. Believe me, Vaughn is very much like that. How many of our materials came out of, no tenemos un libro de phrases? Ah, pues ya tenemos un nuevo proyecto. So it's all very natural, if you will. All right, so let's see. Yeah, you guys never piss me off. Don't worry. And I'll never tell you to piss off. Vete a tomar viento. Let's see. Kubla says, appreciative, Leo. By the way, I was told that hop beverage is responsible for rubbing out brain cells in the insensible. All right. Guys, just keep the conversations among you. I love that you guys talk, but we got to keep it on topic. All right, let's see. Kubla. Oh, wait, the first one to participate is Leo. Now, Leo, you got the right word, but where's the context, man? I need some context, buddy. All right, well, the word is fallout. You can say radioactive. In context, you don't have to. After Fukushima, there was a lot of fallout, okay? And there's a video game, and it's called Fallout. Fallout New Vegas. I think there are a few different ones. And I'll just read it to you from the book, since many of you are going to be getting the book anyway. This is on page 140 in our video game chapter. And it says, se sitúa en un Vegas post-apocalíptica. Pero eso se llama así porque fallout significa lluvia radioactiva. O, de usa figurada, efectos colaterales. So that was the one I was looking for you guys to use. Like, after the boss was fired, there was a lot of fallout. A lot of his employees followed. No, había muchos efectos colaterales. Here, let me give you the example we put in the book. Excuse me. We're still dealing with the fallout from her sudden resignation. Okay? Also, we say here that to fall out or to have a falling out es tener una pelea, un desacuerdo de estos grandes. So, and also, literally, he fell out of the car. We were driving down the road. He opened the window, he opened the door, and he fell out. So literally, to fall out. Then we've got radioactive fallout, nuclear fallout, or in contexto, fallout. Then you got fallout like the after effects, the aftermath. Que esto es una buena palabra también que vemos. The aftermath son las secuelas. And again, not just of a tornado or some natural disaster, but the aftermath is also the effects, the after effects of anything that happens, right? So the coach was fired, and in the aftermath, his players, his favorite players, were fired as well, right? Or the fallout from his firing was that many of his team or many of his staff was fired along with him. Again, I think the best way to do it, as always, come up with your own examples. And I'll give you another little thing here. The British, they like to use it as a verb. So they would say, he fell out with his sister. Se peleó con su hermana. He fell out. And Americans would say more, he had a falling out with. So nosotros tendemos de usarlo como sustantivo y ellos como verbo. Folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break right now. I can't believe it. Time flies when you're having fun. Don't forget to pick up This Book is the Shit. You can do it right now during our commercial break, unless you're coming to the book fair, and then I can hand it to you personally. Folks, we'll be right back with tons more. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. And right after today's show, you got Ximena Holiday with Test Your English. You can catch Ximena Holiday at Feria del Libro. She'll be there on Saturday, June 3rd at 5 p.m. and Sunday, June 11th, also at 5 p.m. Don't miss Ximena Holiday. She'll be there signing Expresiones en Inglés and I think almost any book you want. She's worked on all of them, by the way. So, and a special shout out to Carmen Vallejo, who worked so hard on This Book is the Shit. Just remember, Damian and I are the ones on the cover, and we did come up with the ideas and everything. But the person who made it look nice, and a shout out to Susana as well. Susana, she did the layout, la maquetación. Beautiful. I think you'll all agree it's a gorgeous book. And that part, I gotta say, Carmen and Susana, a big shout out and a nice round of applause. You have to give praise where praise is due. Hay que dar elogios donde se debe. You have to give praise where praise is due, donde está debido. All right, well, we've got a lot to do here, speaking of do, and I think it's time for today's Say What? Say what? What? All right, amigos, it's your Say What soundbite here on the show with no name. And as always, you are going to hear this twice. So you'll have two chances to write all this down. No, excuse me, twice now. And then another two. You got scared, huh? All right, you're going to get four chances. I'm just kidding. But I'll play it for you twice now, and then we'll discuss it. Lo hablamos. You guys tell me what you heard, and we'll see if we all heard the same thing. And then at the end of the show, we will figure it all out. Everybody grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write this down.
We weren't used to that. We'd already been around the world performing with our first album, and it had like a moderate, a moderate response. So, we were cool. We would be able to go out in shows and walk amongst the crowd, and people would be like, "Hey, what's up?"
All right, there you go, folks. That's the first listen of the Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you again in just a moment. Just give you a second there. All right. Everybody got it? Everybody done writing? All right. This is the second listen of your Say What soundbite.
We weren't used to that. We'd already been around the world performing with our first album, and it had like a moderate, a moderate response. So, we were cool. We would be able to go out in shows and walk amongst the crowd, and people would be like, "Hey, what's up?"
All right, guys, there you go. That's the second listen. You'll hear that again, third and a fourth time in the third and fourth parts of the show, respectively. And I just wanted to remind you guys today, the new episode of FYI has dropped. It's an episode with the one and only Tosh Pasqua, and it's on parenting in English. But don't let the name fool you. Like her show, Back to Basics, it's not just for parents. I think anybody can apply it. It's applicable to anybody because really, if you're like me, and I know many of you are, your inner child is alive and kicking. Here's a little teaser. Bringing up children is a constantly changing challenge. Bringing up bilingual kids is a bit more complicated, but it's well worth it. I'm living proof. The good news is that kids and adults alike learn in the very same way. Having fun, discovering fascinating things, and bringing out our inner child.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
We'll look into the ins and outs of raising your little rascals to love languages as we explore parenting in English on this week's episode of FYI. Welcome to For Your Info.
Inglés.
You got it. All right, folks. Give it a listen wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts. You've got For Your Inglés. And as you could hear it, it's not just Tosh Pasqua who joined me. My daughter Lara joins me too. She's in the intro. And then at the end of the bonus part, the second part, remember, there are 2 episodes every week. You hear a little mini class with Lara where we practice who's de quién. So a nice special thanks to my super guests this week. Tosh Pasqua, the host of Back to Basics. Follow her on social media and check out her program every day at 3 p.m. And if you want to learn and laugh with her, listen to the latest episode of FYI. Oh, and Tosh Pasqua will be at the book fair with me. We'll be there together on June 11th. I'll get there at 11. She'll get there at 12. So Damian and I will be there from 11 to 2. She'll be there from 12 to 2. So if you want to see Tosh as well as Damian and myself, don't come at 11, come at 12. Hey, you got to be strategic. A lot of the Vaughn presenters, authors will be there. But someone like Kyle, who's a very popular teacher, he's only going to be there once. June 4th, it's a Sunday, June 4th, from 12 noon to 2 p.m. So Great stuff. Excellent stuff there. I'm really looking forward to it. It's tomorrow. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. Esta noche voy a dormir como un bebé, which is a weird thing because babies don't really sleep the whole night through, do they? All right, let's go on over to our chat room and see what you guys heard in our Double Trouble. Let's see. Kubla says it's a good thing yesterday's precipitation wasn't acid rain. I like it. Just a little bit different, though. All right, so radioactive fallout, like, I think it's like you don't even want to touch it. Acid rain is when there's a lot of pollution in the air. Okay, mucha contaminación. So I wouldn't call acid rain. I mean, it could have some radioactive substance, but normally acid rain is when it rains in the city and it's a really, like, you know, foggy, smoggy day. Smog is smoke and fog. And, well, that would be acid rain. So a little bit different there. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, would you visit Chernobyl to test the nuclear fallout? Just be careful, Born to Iron Man. Chernobyl in inglés se escribe con Y. I know it's not that important, but just to let you know. No, I'm a pretty daring guy. I'm a daredevil. Mira, hablando de comics, un osado. I'm a daredevil, but I'm not crazy. Nope, no thanks. There's Chris Valrol. She says, sorry, my knowledge about video games is zero. Mine too. Well, unless you count like arcade games, Pac-Man, like pinball, los recreativos I used to play. But I never got into the console thing. I had the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. Remember, it came with Super Mario and Duck Hunt. Oh man, that's about it. I had Kung Fu, so I wouldn't know where to start in today's gaming world. But it's a huge industry, isn't it? By the way, there's an FYI episode on video games if you haven't heard it. There's even a little, excuse me. I even do a little quiz where I play different video game jingles. You know, and you have to guess which one it is. I think it's a fun episode. And man, they've never been bigger. So Chris says, could it be Fallout? It has a figurative meaning too. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's Elena. Hello, Elena. How are you? And she says, good morning, everyone. Let's get the ball rolling, shall we? Pongamos el balón a rodar. Let's get the ball rolling. Totally native for you, Elena. Born to Iron Man says, I'd say Fallout, maybe. The video game. Okay, but like Leonardo, I like that you know the word. I would prefer to see you use it in context, right? So, but yes, the word is fallout. Chris says we have to fix the fallout from the chemical leak. Great, very, very literal. I hope you never have to use that one. All right, so I'll use it in the figurative sense. The fallout from his firing, siempre estoy usando el mismo ejemplo, but could be felt for years to come, ¿no? Los efectos colaterales de su despedida se notó por años. Fallout. Because after he had a falling out with the boss, después de pelearse, right? So to fall out of favor, también. So as always, we're not just looking at the word fall here. We're playing with it. Fall out. And remember, it's an irregular verb. Fall, fell, fallen. Not to be confused with feel, felt, felt. Let's see. Elena's participating in our Say What soundbite. She says it's a pop star, a singer, commenting on the reaction her new album had on the audience. Excellent. Elena, short and sweet. Kubla says it sounded like an African-American female performer discussing how one of her band's apostrophe S, world tours turned out. Oh yeah. Just missing an apostrophe S. Let's see who else. Chris Valrol chiming in, comentando. She says, by her voice, I'd say she's an Afro-American singer, talking about the effect her first album had and all that jazz. Chris, you love that one, huh? Let's see, who else? Who else has got something to say? There's Nihad. Nihad says, I think she's a famous artist, speaking about how she learned how to get used to the new life as an artist, especially after performing throughout the world, having contact with people on the street. Great. Excellent. Great job, everybody. All right, well, if there's nobody else, well, then we've got to move on, folks, because you know time is of the essence. Aquí el tiempo cuenta. So it's time for today's Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. That's right, amigos. That's right. You know it. It is here now. It's our Spelling Bee. And as always, this is usually a tough part of the show. Esta suele ser un poco chungo, un poco difícil. But I know you guys will be able to handle it. I know you'll be able to handle it. I was going to say handle it and figure it out. Handle it out. Eso no significa nada. Pero handle it and figure it out. See. All right, Leo, really quickly before we start our Spelling Bee. Leo says, I think she's a singer who is saying that after a cold opinion on their first album, her group kept cool. Mantuvieron la calma. La calma. Continued doing concerts and their careers. Great. Nice job, Leo. Leo. All right, folks, this is round one. These are people, so they will be capitalized. Are we ready? I'm going to fly. I am literally going to fly through this one because you know how I do it. The first person is, ready? Martin space Luther space King space JR period. The next one, JULIANNE space MOORE. The third one is EMILY space DESCHANEL. The fourth one is GENNA space DAVIS. The fifth one is LEONARD space NIMOY. And the last one is HOWARD space STERN. Whoa. Yeah, I know. That was tough there. All right. And as always, well, let me, no, I'll wait. I was going to give you a little clue, but I think this is a hard one to get today. All right. Going once. Going twice. I know somebody is just about to hit send right now. I know it. I can feel it. Anyone? Anyone? Is that someone you? All right, I got to start the second round. If nobody got them, let's take a look, folks. All right, wait a second. It looks like we may have a winner. Ladies and gentlemen, unbelievable Kubla. Looks perfect. Great job. And we got Born to Iron Man, too. Excellent job, Kubla and Born to Iron Man. You nailed our spelling bee on the first go. El primer intento. All right, well, let's go again with round 2. Don't worry, I'm going to be nice here. The first person is Martin space Luther space King space JR period. The second one is JULIANNE space MOORE. The third one, EMILY space DESCHANEL. The fourth person is GENA space DAVIS. The fifth person is LEONARD space NIMOY. And the last one is HOWARD space STERN. All right, there you go. Those are your spelling bee words over there. We got Chris Valrol as well. Nice job, Chris. Wonderful job. That's right, folks. As I see many of you are getting it now, there's Lupe as well. And Chris, you nailed it. These are really intelligent people, or interested, talented people who graduated from Boston University. So, Chris, you not only got them, but today it was tough. Man. These are alumni, and alumni es el plural. And alumni in English no son alumnos, son exalumnos. So it's an interesting one. I am an alumni, right? So alumnus is the singular and alumni is the plural. But they call it the Alumni Association. You're among the alumni, right? Viene de latín, evidentemente. But we don't call somebody who's a student an alumni. It's when you finish, you become an alumni. So that's an interesting one over there. And these are all people, yes, as Chris said, that graduated from the prestigious Boston University. And today, in 1869, Boston University received its charter. And, it's still in operation to this day. And the first person on our list here is legendary, iconic. In fact, I have to do an FYI episode on him. There's an episode on universities, by the way, if you want to learn about universities in the United States and all the vocabulary. But the first person, and I think probably the most illustrious person, Martin Luther King Jr., or as we call him, MLK Jr. And I prepared a little soundbite of his famous "I Have a Dream" speech.
Even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. Yeah. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
All right, there he is, the legendary MLK Jr. and his I Have a Dream speech. Guys, if you're a history buff, that is a really great way to learn English and also check out some of the most famous speeches in history. The other day, we looked at the Kennedy moonshot speech. You could even do this, Google the 10 or 20 most famous speeches. Now, if you have, let's put it this way now. If you have these, always take into account when they're from, because some of the vocabulary might be outdated. Now, in this case, none of it was. Even though even though, aunque, so we can learn a lot. Another good way to learn with speeches are TED Talks, las charlas TED, because you can learn about neurofunctions, you can learn about sailing, you can learn about, meditation or what have you. So you can go down the history route, or you can go down the, learn about a different idea route. And another thing we can learn here is not just the vocabulary, but how to be a good orator. And that's so important. I mean, think about it. Even if you're not a salesperson, a sales rep, un comercial, you're always selling something every single day. What are you selling? Yourself, right? At work, you're selling yourself. You're saying, yo valgo, because I'm worth it. Porque lo valgo. Folks, we've got to go before I start throwing shampoo around over here. Because I'm worth it. M&M's, they melt in your mouth, not in your hand. Gillette, the best a man can get. Folks, we'll be right back with the second half of today's show with No Name. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with No Name, exclusively on Fawn Radio. That's right, amigos. Welcome back to the show with No Name. Tons of fun, as always. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. and learn and laugh together, because I'm learning too. Don't think you're the only ones learning here on the show with no name. Okay, I know the English stuff, but I'm learning about all kinds of different things. Boston University, or Boston U, as they say. It's a famous university in the United States. Or maybe I should pronounce it like they do. Boston. Boston. They don't say in New York we say Boston. They say Boston. We parked the car at Harvard Yard. Hey, you know who's got that kind of Massachusetts accent? JFK, Boston. That's why we commit ourselves to reaching the moon before the end of this decade is through. That's Boston, baby. Another one who's got that, Matt Damon. You can hear the Boston in him. As they always say, you can take the boy out of Boston, or donde sea, but you can't take the Boston out of the boy. All right, amigos, let's rock and roll with today's homophones.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
Show with no name. That's right, amigos. You know it. It is time for these tricky words that tend to throw my students off, but not you guys, and definitely not after this section. The only thing I ask is that you use these words in context and you say them aloud, like always. All right. Well, the first word, let's see if you're familiar with it. It's roca, peña, pedrusco, peñasco. And if you guys know, just a week ago, we had an episode of FYI on mountains, and we take a good look at all of this vocabulary. Summit, que es el pico, ¿no? La parte de arriba. La cumbre, you say. I was looking for the right word. So this is a word that has to do with nature, with mountains, right? Roca, it's usually a large, smooth rock. Okay, those big ones that you can kind of, if you sit on top of one, you're king of the world. Those rounded, big rocks. Okay, sometimes people have them as decoration. When I was growing up in my house, we had a lot of these around our yard. And it's cool. You would put some plants around it. And my sister and I would climb all over them, right? Nosotros escalábamos. And careful with that one. Climb. Climb es con B muda. But back then, we were más audaz. Toma, ahí tienes la palabra. Más audaz. Más valiente, más atrevido. So, does the word pedrusco, big rock, sound the same as más audaz, más atrevido, más valiente? So, si yo te digo la frase, mi hermana y yo éramos más valientes porque antes escalábamos pedruscos. With the word pedrusco and the word más valiente, not valiente, más valiente. All right, and in the meantime, let me give you our Say What soundbite. This is the third listen. Please write down what you hear.
We weren't used to that. We'd already been around the world performing with our first album, and it had like a moderate, a moderate response. So, we were cool. We would be able to go out in shows and walk amongst the crowd, and people would be like, "Hey, what's up?"
All right, there you go, my amigos. There's your Say What soundbite for the third time. You're going to hear it one more time. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we've got a winner here. Please give it up for Kubla. Nice job. Excellent, excellent. All right. Also, let's look at our homophones. I see we got some people answering already. The first one, Kubla, those are the two words. And Kubla says they're homophones. Born to Iron Man. Born to Iron Man, those are the two words, correct? And you say they sound alike. So right now, two of my super show with no namers say that these two words sound exactly alike, right? Well, do you guys trust them? I would normally. So do I trust them this time? I don't want to sway you. No quiero influirte. I don't want to sway you one way or the other, but they are pretty trustworthy. Bastante dignos, ¿no? Confiables, dignos que te confíes en ellos. Trustworthy, literalmente, una palabra, right? También usamos la palabra praiseworthy. And they're trustworthy guys, and they're also praiseworthy, dignos de elogios. No? Commendable. Se dice así? I don't know. Commendable? So, excellent job, guys. Yeah, the first word is boulder, con una U. So, es como shoulder, hombro, y rima, right? I fell when I was climbing a boulder, and I hurt my shoulder. Also, shoulder, as we've looked at in the past, is arcén, the side of the road. Pull over to the shoulder, right? And, well, if you see a boulder, you might want to pull over to the shoulder, okay? Sounds the same. And the second one comes from the word bold. Now, bold es negrita, si hablamos de texto, pero bold como una persona es atrevido, que no se calla, no va a pasar desapercibido. The person's not going to go unnoticed. They're going to say what they think, okay? So if you think about it, piénsalo. Negrita, la letra, is bold, es audaz, es el que sobresale. Dice, no, yo quiero que mires aquí. So I don't know. It's a good way to be able to associate those two. So let me give you the sentence that I said before. When my sister and I were younger and bolder, we used to climb the boulder in front of my house. And anybody who's ever heard, there's a place in Colorado called Boulder, Colorado. Hombre, las montañas rocosas, the Rocky Mountains. So if you like mountains, and I think many people do, as many of my students said after the episode, they said, Alberto, you can tell that you have a special connection to mountains. I said, well, it's where I was born. I was born in a mountainous area. So for me, when I see mountains, when I see snow-capped mountains, when I see the vegetation and all that, and lakes, I feel like I'm at home. Even the smell of a wood-burning chimney, that kind of stuff makes me feel like home. So I love the beach, but I'm a mountain man. Bueno, tampoco, no sobre. I wouldn't survive 24 hours out there. So, yes, these words are homophones. Excellent job. Also, let's take a look at the people. We had to take a look at a few people here in our spelling bee, and then we'll move on to our Name That Movie section. And the first one, as I said, is MLK Jr. We just listened to part of his I Have a Dream speech. By the way, that was just an excerpt, un corte pequeño. I didn't want to put 20 minutes of it on the show, but Martin Luther King Jr., MLK Jr. The second person, Julianne Moore, very talented actress. Julianne Moore also graduated from Boston University. Then we've got Emily Deschanel, and I know she's a very famous actress, and I know her name too, but I got to be honest, I know a lot more about Julianne Moore than I know about Emily Deschanel. So, but I know she's famous, and so is her family. Now, the next one, Gina Davis. Hello? Gina Davis? Are you kidding me? Thelma and Louise? I mean, and so many other movies. Beetlejuice. Don't worry, I won't say it 3 times. The next one, Leonard Nimoy. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Dr. Spock from the famous Star Trek. And last but not least, Howard Firme. What? Howard Stern. If you're stern, you're firm with people. Howard Stern, definitely somebody I used to listen to. I got to be honest, right now, I don't listen to Howard Stern because I don't listen to radio. I listen to podcasts more than anything. But when I was growing up, you can listen to Howard Stern and you'll see some of his influence in me, because he was one of the first people to make like being a radio DJ a celebrity. Like he was like, yeah, I'm sitting here, and he was at all the parties. He's still a big celebrity. I just lost track of him. Le perdí la pista un poco because, well, A, I live in Spain, and B, I listen to podcasts. For some reason, when I go to my mother-in-law's, my mother-in-law always has the radio on. Although I got to admit, I love listening to, because one thing's watching a game on TV, right? There's nothing like that. But I got to tell you, listening to a soccer game on the radio is much more exciting. At least here in Spain. I can't speak about, the commentators everywhere, but the guys on the radio are so much more into it. They're explaining more things about the game than the ones on TV. And I know you can sync it now, where you can watch the game and you can listen to the commentary from your favorite radio station. Because obviously, they're not relying on the screen, right? When you're watching the game, you have a big screen over there, and you're relying on that. But here, you don't have a screen, so they really have to describe everything to a T, a la perfección. And that's why I love it. And speaking of big screens, why don't we take a look at today's Name That Movie? Name That Movie. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie here on the show with no name, and this is where we take a look at a flick. I think most of you, knowing you guys, I think most of you have seen this flick. All right, so here we go. Let's see if you recognize the synopsis I'm about to give you. An insomniac office worker, hasta ahora fácil, ¿no? An insomniac office worker and a devil may care. Now, devil may care. Vamos a ver cómo lo ponen en español. Temerario, like a daredevil. No pienso daredevil, devil may care. Despreocupado, somebody who doesn't care. Reckless es otra forma de decirlo. So a devil, vamos a volver aquí. I just wanted to look it up. And a devil may care soap maker. Yeah, me has oído bien. Uno que fabrica jabón, not soup, soap. Soap maker forman an underground club. I don't want to say, if I say the word, then I give it away. An underground club that evolves. Y ojo, he oído muchos alumnos decir, evolutionate. No, me gusta. Evolve es evolucionar. Evolution sí que es el sustantivo, but we evolve. And it evolves into much more. Ladies and gentlemen, our movie queen. She's the movie queen. Oh, yeah. Oh, see that, Chris? She is playing well. Great job. The flick is Fight Club. Club de la Lucha. Hey, it's translated exactly the same. And Kubla got it as well. Nice job. Nice job. What a great movie. I don't know about you guys. I freaking love it. It's great. And the author, the guy who came up with the idea for the novel that it was based on, he had a novel idea. Okay, never mind. Well, he was beat up on a camping trip. So he went camping with his friends. He got beat up, le dieron una paliza, not his friends. And when he complained to some people that were nearby, he said, guys, I got beat up. This is crazy. And it happened because he complained about the noise. He told somebody to turn down their radio He goes, "Can you turn down the radio?" And they beat him up. And when he told other campers of what had happened, he said nobody cared. Everyone's like, "Yeah, well, that's life." He's like, "I just got assaulted by like a bunch of people." And, people are like, "Oh, so how was your weekend?" And he's like, "Are you even listening? I just told you." I've had that happen many times where I'm like, I've had a shitty week and somebody goes, "Oh, congrats." I'm like, obviously not listening. And sometimes I'll even say it. I'm like, and that's when the elephant jumped up in the air. Y ahí si no miran, no están prestando atención porque no tienen nada que ver que un elefante salte. So yeah, and he saw that there was this apathy that was going on, and people just didn't care enough on a personal level. And he was fascinated with what he called societal, vamos a pronunciar esa palabra, de la sociedad, teniendo que ver con la sociedad, societal, porque es society, pues societal es el adjetivo. Societal blocking, como que la gente bloquea los demás, como que no existen. And that became the foundation of the novel. Also, some cool little Easter eggs, como decimos, cosas escondidas in the movie. After the copyright warning, the FBI warning, you'll be arrested by the FBI. Well, there's another warning on the DVD version. And it's a warning from Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt's character. And it's there for 1 second. And if you remember, he works at a movie theater where they play pornography. Excuse me. He works at a movie theater and he slips in pornography, right? Frames. So it flashes on the screen quickly. So this was kind of him doing it in this movie. It was like a movie inside of a movie. And it's interesting because nobody would be able to read it. You have to be able to pause it. But it says, if you are reading this, then this warning is for you. Every word you read of this is useless fine print, is another second off your life. Estás perdiendo tu tiempo leyendo esto. Don't you have other things to do? ¿No tienes otras cosas que hacer? Is your life so empty, vacío, that you honestly, vamos a pronunciar, no es honest, es honestly can't think of a better way to spend these moments? Usted está criticando al que lo lea. But it only flashes on screen for a second. And he says, or are you so impressed with authority that you give respect and credence to all who claim it? Que eres uno que sigue sin preguntar. Do you read everything you're supposed to read? ¿Lees todo lo que deberías leer? Do you think everything you're supposed to think? Lo que debes pensar? But what you're told you should want. Oh, perdona, buy, not but. Buy what you're told you should want. Compras lo que te dicen que deberías querer. Get out of your apartment. Sal de tu apartamento. Meet a member of the opposite sex. Stop the excessive shopping and masturbation. Quit your job. Start a fight. Prove you're alive. If you don't claim your humanity, you will become a statistic. You've been warned. Tyler. Wow, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Obviously you don't see it. It flashes on screen for a second. All right, so let's take a look at this scene from Fight Club, the movie that came out in 1999. And Tyler Durden, again, played by the super sexy Brad Pitt, he says, did you know, ¿sabías? Did you know? Muchas veces, did you know? He says, did you know that if you mix equal parts of gasoline and frozen orange juice concentrate, you can make napalm? Esto es lo que usaban en Vietnam para bombardear, napalm. And the narrator, played by Ed Norton, great roles here too. He says, no, I didn't know that. Is that true? Eso es verdad. And Tyler says, that's right. One could make all kinds of explosives using simple household items. Eso es verdad. Uno puede hacer cualquier tipo de explosivos usando cosas que encontramos en casa. Household items. And the narrator says, really? And Tyler says, if you were so inclined, si quisieras, si tuvieras la intención. And the narrator says, Tyler, you are by far the most interesting single-serving friend I've ever met. And single-serving, he's talking about como un paquete de ketchup, right? Like a ketchup package. Single-serving, de una porción. So he goes, and it's because they're on a plane, by the way. Están en un avión, okay? And they give you, okay, toma la mantequilla para una persona. He goes, so he's kind of commenting on what they're doing. And he goes, you are by far, con mucha diferencia, the most interesting single-serving friend I've ever met. Ojo con este verbo, meet, met. Okay, I've heard people mix it up. It's meet, met. Okay? And he says, see, I have this thing. ¿Ves? Tengo esta cosita, esta idea, right? Everything on a plane is single serving. Todo lo que encuentras en un avión es de una dosis. No una dosis, pero de una porción. And Tyler says, oh, I get it. It's very clever. Sí, te he pillado. Muy listillo, ¿no? Muy ingenuo. Ingenioso. Not ingenuo. Ingenuo is you are gullible if you are ingenuo. You're naive. This is clever, the opposite. You're not just smart, you're smart and funny at the right time. So the narrator says, thank you. And he goes, and then Tyler says, how's that working out for you? ¿Y cómo te va eso? Y esto es como un insulto que hacíamos de pequeño, ¿no? Un poco como otro dice, oh, guess what? I'm learning how to play, or I'm number one in my class. Soy el primero de mi clase. When someone's bragging, diciendo, mírame, we're like, oh, and how's that working out for you? ¿Y cómo te va eso? So he's saying it in a sarcastic way. He goes, how's that working out for you? ¿Y cómo te va eso ser tan listo, tan, no? Ingenioso. And the narrator says, what? He goes, being clever. ¿Cómo te va? No? Es como meterte con la gente un poco. And he goes, what? He goes, being clever. And the narrator says, great. Me va bien. He's like, and then Tyler Durden says, keep it up then. Entonces, pues sigue con ello, si te va bien. Right up. No? And then he gets up from his airplane seat, el asiento. And this is a funny part of this is something we've all had to deal with in a second. When you're in the theater, or you're in any place where there's an aisle or a row and you have to get past other people, a baseball game, he says, and now a question of etiquette. Y ahora vamos a mirar una cuestión de educación, etiquette. As I pass, mientras te paso aquí, because he wasn't sitting in the aisle seat, he was sitting in the window seat, so he needs to get up. And he goes, as I pass, do I give you the ass or the crotch? You get the ass, te doy el culo o el entrepiernas, que, o te estoy mirando o te doy la espalda cuando paso. So, and the word crotch, you can learn in the book, in the Simpsons chapter. In the new book, this book is the shit. It's in the Simpsons chapter. And you know why? I know it because we have a little section where we look at Bart Simpson's most common crank calls, las llamadas estas de broma. And one of the names he uses is Mr. Roch there? Mr. Roch, he calls Moe's bar. He goes, is Mr. Roch there? Mr. Roch. And he says, yeah, Mike Roch. My crotch, mi entrepierna. Folks, learning from Fight Club, learning from The Simpsons, learning from music, humor, history, and a little bit of everything. Folks, we'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. All aboard. Can't believe we're in the final part of today's show. Just a quick reminder, I'll see you all at Feria del Libro Madrid stand 312. We'll be there this Saturday, May 27th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Be the first one to get your hands on my latest book with Damian Moya. This book is The Shit, La Leche. It's a big book, too. Look at it. It's thick. Es grueso, eh? 244 pages with illustrations, thousands of words and structures. You've got an emoji quiz, and then you've got a final exam. Oh, yeah. Well, one thing is reading the book, and one thing is retaining information. So at the end of the book, you've got a final exam as well. I hope you guys pick up a copy, whether you can pick it up live or not. If you can't, you can stop by our Vaughn Tienda in person, or you can stop by the book fair or our websites, grupovaughn.com. And now it's time for double. Sing it. Double trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up.
Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. That's right, amigos. It's double trouble only on the show with no name. All right, guys. I know I ask you a lot, but I'll ask you again if you'd like. If you're going to have personal conversations between each other, I think there's nothing better on this earth. Honestly, I think it's great that you guys are friends. However, as I've begged you, he rogado muchas veces, if you do it during the show, then now when we do double trouble, I have to look through those 6 or 7 comments until I find the double trouble. And I'm not going to read them aloud because it's a conversation between 2 people. I know I've said this before. I'm not pissed off, but don't make me repeat myself. That's the part of being a teacher I don't like. I like to just teach. I don't like the discipline stuff, And again, in any other situation, I'd say talk away, get each other's phone numbers, chat every day. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great way to share stuff. Why do you think I started a community myself? To get people together who had similar interests with me as the captain of the ship, right? But the only thing is, then right now, when we just came back from the commercial break, I've got a whole full-fledged conversation going on over here in the chat room. So I'll ask you guys to, if you're going to speak personally, one-to-one, and like have a chat conversation, exchange numbers, or also I imagine you guys can find each other on social media, just to make things a little bit easier for me, because as you know, we got the technical stuff. I got to get through the English stuff as well. And then, well, adding the comments in just adds another factor. So I really appreciate that. And again, in a normal situation, talk away, hablar. But try and keep it to stuff that's either stuff that we're talking about right now, or obviously the participation in the sections. All right. So, and I won't say names. It's not important who. The important thing is that's for everybody. That little request, please. Okay. Let's take a look at today's double trouble. All right. Eso no cuenta. Eso es humo para ti. Okay. Pero moriré defendiendo esa convicción. Whoa. So, eso no cuenta, o eso es humo para ti, pero moriré defendiendo esa convicción. Okay? Good luck to everybody. I don't think it's too difficult. Maybe you'll be able to figure it out. If not, I will tell you in just a moment. Also, here's your Say What soundbite for the Firth, the fourth. I was mixing first and fourth. For the Firth, Colin Firth. Hold it. You can tell, guys, I'm ready for the weekend, and I got to work this weekend, by the way. But it's been a busy week, month, year. So I'll get there. I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. We've got about 20 minutes left in today's show, and we've got a lot of stuff to cover. So what were we looking at? Oh, the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the fourth and final time.
We weren't used to that. We'd already been around the world performing with our first album, and it had like a moderate, a moderate response. So, we were cool. We would be able to go out in shows and walk amongst the crowd, and people would be like, "Hey, what's up?"
All right, there you go, my amigos. There's your Say What soundbite for the fourth time. All right. As I said, I think Kubla, I don't know if anybody else got it yet. But if not, you still have time. And what happens then is we will look at it at the end. Some of you might even recognize the voice. A lot of you said that it was an African-American woman, which I think you're on the right track there. And I'll give you a clue. Here's a clue. If you know her name, then it's going to help you with our double trouble. How's that? Now, here's my question. When I'm not doing a section, everybody's commenting. And now that I'm asking you guys to participate, nobody's commenting. Is this the world upside down? El mundo al revés? Because I don't get it. Please, somebody explain it to me. I don't get it. When I ask you to participate is when you have to participate in the different sections. Now, if it's too difficult, no worries. I get it. But, I didn't think it was that difficult, to be honest. All right. We'll give you another 10, 20 seconds over here. Okay. Let's see. Kubla's taking a stab at it. All right. All right. Yeah, guys, save your comments for the, when we participate in the different sections, right? Because those are the ones that we have to have, right, in order to participate. And then, of course, it's great to add your ideas and opinions and things. But just remember, if it's a conversation that's just for two people, then make sure it's just for two people, right? Okay, so let's see. Kubla taking a stab at it. He says, that's water under the bridge, but I'll burn all my bridges defending that conviction. All right, it's not exactly the same. It's a good effort. That's a good effort right there. But yeah, eso no cuenta, o eso es humo para ti, no es importante. It's more something, okay, we can see it there. Y moriré defendiendo. Esto es, cerraré todos mis puertas. So good expressions here, but still not the one I've got here. As I said, if you know who our Say What soundbite is, if you know her last name, then you'll know this. Or you should, it'll give you a clue to be able to figure it out. All right. Anybody? Anybody? What happened to all the comments, guys? All right. That's a hill of beans to you. A hill of beans? What? Yeah, a hill of beans. Something that's not very important. Piensa, habichuelas, habas, una colina de ellos, pues tampoco equivale a mucha. It's not very much, right? And it's from a famous movie. Let me see, A Hill of Beans. Hill of Beans, what movie is it from? Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca. He says this famous line, I know this doesn't amount to a hill of beans. No equivale a nada, right? Es humo. He says, there's just a hill of beans in this crazy world. It's the famous scene, here's looking at you, kid. Right? Famous scene. Hill of beans. Si buscas Hill of Beans, Casablanca, you can hear this famous scene. All right. So this one is straight from the movies here. Okay. So that's a hill of beans to you. Eso es humo. No es importante para ti. It's a hill of beans. But moriré defendiendo esa convicción. But I'll die on that hill. Now, I told you it was somebody's last name, Hill. Jesus Gil? No, that's not that one. Colina in English. So now you've got a clue on one of our famous birthdays. Look at that. So the translation, that's a hill of beans to you. A ti no es importante, es humo. But I'll die on that hill. And eso es como, esto aquí no me muevo. Aquí, esto sí que lo voy a defender. Y si tengo que caer en el proceso, caigo. Right? Me echan por esto. Right? It means you have such a strong conviction about that hill that you're like, aquí no cambio. Aquí no me cambia nadie. I'll die. I say we need to do this, and I'll die on that hill. Okay? Eso significa, y no, que me maten si no tengo la razón ahí, que yo voy a muerte con esto, con esta idea. Lo defiendo a muerte. And if you think about it, Vietnam, we were talking before about war, and in Vietnam, they used to try and get the hills. And I guess in any war, because you're on high ground and you can look around and you have a lookout. And there's a famous story of Hamburger Hill, where so many lives were lost and they were, killing people to take control of Hamburger Hill. And then they abandoned it a few days later, they abandoned it. So they were saying, okay, a lot of effort to take that hill, and for what? So I'll die on that hill means that's my belief. I feel very strongly about this belief or this conviction. And you say lo mismo, belief, creencia, or conviction, convicción. All right, that's a hill of beans. Watch the scene or watch the whole movie, Casablanca. But it's not time for Name That Movie right now. No way. It's time for You're Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. That's right, amigos. You're joking, only on the show with no name. And here's where we're going to take a look at a couple jokes, and we'll see if you guys got these jokes or not. I think they're pretty easy, but, it just depends on your mastery of English, tu dominancia, o dominio, I think you say, your mastery of English. So, as I said, a lot of this vocabulary that we're going to look at, because we're looking at hills today, boulders, mountains and things like that, you can learn about in the last, not the latest one, the one before that. So the latest one, the one that dropped today, is parenting in English, where Tosh Pasqua and I give you a bunch of ideas. And last week's was on mountains. So you'll learn a lot of this stuff if you haven't learned it. If you haven't heard the episode, give it a listen. So yeah, I can't stand rock climbing. I can't stand it. No lo soporto. Well, it's not the climbing that I dislike. It's the people that are encouraging me the whole time. I mean, they literally drive me up a wall. No. No. I can't stand rock climbing. No lo soporto. Well, it's not the climbing part I don't like. It's those people in my class that are encouraging me. Yeah, they really drive me up a wall. No? Anybody get it? Okay. So, to drive somebody up a wall is guiarles por la pared. Come on, you can do it. You got it. You're driving them. You're liderando, guiando. You're driving them up a wall. Come on, buddy. Okay, put your left hand there. Grab that spike. You got it. Okay, now put your right. They're driving you up a wall. But also, if somebody drives you up a wall, they drive you crazy. Pienso, estoy subiendo por las paredes. Hey, I think you say the same thing. Man, it's driving me up a wall. Me está volviendo loco. And if somebody's off the wall, they're crazy. It's a very famous Michael Jackson album. So you get it now? They drive me, me guían, me vuelven loco. Okay, all right. I read a book, though, once about rock climbing. Yeah. It was a real cliffhanger. It was a real cliffhanger. No? A cliffhanger? Colgar de un acantilado, to hang off a cliff. Also, a cliffhanger is one of these movies that's exciting, right? Que tiene sorpresa. Let's see how they translate it. I forgot the word in Spanish. Cliffhanger. It's also a movie with, what's his name? Sly Stallone. Final de suspenso, right? So that movie was a cliffhanger. They had you hanging there at the end. You didn't know what was going to happen. A cliffhanger. And literally, somebody who climbs rocks can be known as a cliffhanger because they literally hang off of cliffs. So you get it now? I read a book about rock climbing. It was a real cliffhanger. Que tenía final sorpresa. Well, hey, guys, if you didn't like that joke, I'm sorry. I harnessed all my energy. Harness? Arnés? You say arnés, we say harness. Also, emplear, aprovechar. I harnessed all my energy. Lo empleé. All right, bad joke. Well, did you know? If you know, first, it's not arnés in English, it's harness. Harness. But it's also a verb that means to use the power of something. So he harnessed all his energy to finish the game. Harness. Hey, I made that one up myself. Esa era mía, eh? So, all right, one more. Why did the climber explain the plan quickly? ¿Por qué explicó rápidamente el escalador o alpinista? Why did he explain the plan quickly? El plan que iban a hacer, the route. Oh, easy. He wanted to sum it up. He wanted to sum it up. No. To sum it up is resumirlo. To sum it up, right? I tell you to do it every day in our Say What soundbite. But also to sum it up is to sum it, if you listen to the episode, is llegar a la cima. And to sum it up is ir a la cima, ir hacia arriba. So he wanted to sum it up, quería llegar a la cima, hacia arriba, or he wanted to resumirlo. Also, summit es cumbre. So when we talk about there's a global warming summit or an international summit happening in Kyoto, that's also cumbre. It's the same word. Also, o sea, funciona en inglés y en español ese doble uso. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed those jokes. I know, nothing worth celebrating, but we are going to celebrate some birthdays in famous birthday trivia. That's right, amigos. That's right. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. Let's take a look at who's celebrating a birthday today. The first person was born in 1971. He is 50% of South Park. So, and he's not Trey Parker. Hombre, si te sabes los de South Park, lo tienes ahí. Oh, and his last name is Piedra. Ya que estábamos mirando Pedruscos, his last name is una piedra. Okay? So, and his first name is Felpudo, si le quitamos una T. So, Felpudo de Piedra is this guy's name. And if you're not familiar with South Park, you might know him from The Book of Mormon, Cannibal the Musical, Team America, World Police. That's a great one, too. And these guys are not just, illustrators, creators, but they're also really good musicians. If you listen to some of the songs, they're actually well made. Like, you're like, wow, that's nice harmony, And since its debut, South Park, which is their claim to fame, I think what made them famous, it debuted on August 13th, 1997. Now, at the time of this, there have been over 325 episodes that have been broadcast. All right? And last but not least, she was born in 1966, an English actress known for playing in huge movies. She played Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, in The King's Speech, where she received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress. She's also in Hamlet in 1990. She was in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. She's been in the Harry Potter series. She was in Fight Club, Les Miserables, Ocean's 8. Oh, and she collaborated with her former partner, Tim Burton. And she was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Sweeney Todd, The Red Queen, Dark Shadows, and so much more. I met her, and I met her with Tim Burton when I was in Malta. He was nice. No digo más. Yeah. He was nice. Si no tienes nada bien que decir, no lo digas. Okay, me callo. And last but not least, her name is Colina, as I told you guys before. As I said, it was the word that we looked at. She was the one who said, killing me out with his fingers. But not the first one. The one with the Fugees, which comes from the Refugees. Ooh la la la. It's the way that we rock and we do it again. Ooh la 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 la. What a great, great tune. Give it up for your classmates, Kubla and Chris Valrol. Number 1, Matt Stone. Number 2, Helena Bonham Carter. No, it's Bonham Carter. And last but not least, Lauryn Hill. And she'll die on that hill. Well, I know. Hey, if it helps you remember it, great. You can imagine Lauryn Hill saying, this is a hill of beans, but I'll die on this hill. And now I think she's over the hill. No es tan jovencita como. As you know, we've got a lot of expressions that have to do with hill. And there's the other one I gave you. Hacer una montaña de grano de arena. Do you know it? If not, you've got it in the mountains episode of FYI. Let's hear Lauryn Hill. This was her about when she was realizing she was famous. It's like all of a sudden people were like, hey, I know you. So she says, we weren't used to that. No estábamos acostumbrados, that people recognize them. We'd already been around the world performing with our first album. Ya habíamos viajado el mundo. And it had, a moderate response, que tampoco fue un exitazo. We were cool. Éramos cool. Tampoco muy famosos. We would be able to go to the shows and walk amongst the crowd. Podíamos ir a los bolos y andar entre el público, que no éramos tan famosos, right? And she goes, and people would be like, hey, what's up? So it was very natural. And then they became huge, absolutely huge. And here she is, birthday girl, Lauryn Hill.
We weren't used to that. We'd already been around the world performing with our first album, and it had like a moderate, a moderate response. So, we were cool. We would be able to go out in shows and walk amongst the crowd, and people would be like, hey, what's up?
All right, folks, it's time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos, and Excellent job to all of you. Today's Name That Lyric. I've got to give it to you now because we don't have time. It's from South Park. Bigger, longer, uncut. Dejo que vosotros piéis ese chiste. Bigger, longer, uncut, sin cortar. Okay. And the song is It's Easy, okay. And as I said, it's one of those songs that it's like a joke of a song, but it's actually very well done. If you can follow along, it's called It's Easy, okay, instead of okay. Porque hay mucha gente que dice okay, and it's from South Park. Thank you so much, amigos. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hope to see you at the book fair as well. Ciao for now.
Things too much. You be coming at it and must get back in touch.
You can do it.
You can do it.
It's all up to you.
Okay.